But in this one, it's not. But I can show you a tip to do that. So let's take a look. Now, I'm not going to talk about single mode and how to get it 101 because you start out at 50. You already got to do math in your head if you want to be in heading hold mode or AVCS mode with some gain. So what's the sense in doing that? You can play with it if you want. So I'm going to switch, as I said, I would use this radio in dual mode. That way I know when I'm in normal and I know when I'm not. So I've recombined all my conditions because I've already showed you that. We're not going to mess with that. So I'm going to go into tail lock. And I've got 0% gain. You see the gyro says 0% gain. Well, I'm going to hit reset. I'm going to put that to 50. All right? Now, it's 50% gain in tail lock, but notice the gyro. It's in tail lock, but it's only 39. Let me show you a trick to make this 1-to-1 so you always know what your true gain is. I'm going to exit the gyro menu. Remember, I got 50% gain in there right now. I'm going to go to EPA, and I'm going to go to the gyro menu. The travel adjust for the gyro channel, channel 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase this endpoint until the gyro reads 50. Now, if you don't have a gyro that tells you your true gain, I'm going to let you know it's somewhere between 125 and 130. All right? As you can see, I can make several steps before it changes. All right? So I'm going to go to 128. All right? Then I'm going to flip the switch into an idle up condition, and I'm going to set that to 128 so it matches. All right, follow me on this. Now here's the beauty of this little tip, and this is exactly what I do for this radio. All right, so I've set the gyro channel endpoint adjustments to 128, 128. So let's see what that does with the gyro menu. I'm at 50% gain. Check it out. You know what? Hold on. Let me back up a little bit and go back to EPA. I'm not quite reading 50. Switch back. So I'm going to drop this actually to 127 and this one to 127. All right, pardon me on that. I just want to try to get it. Your radio may vary a little bit, but I'll tell you what, getting it to about 128, 127, a click or two either way, will be damn close to 1-to-1 to where I don't think you're going to have to worry about it. By the way, being in dual mode means your steps on your gyro menu are much finer than being in single mode because you're getting the full range. You're not just above 50 or just below 50. You're getting the full range. So now, I'm going to reset this back to 0. And this is the beauty of this. 0 gain, 0 gain. I'm going to go to 20. I'm at 20 in the gyro menu. Check it out. The gyro's showing 20. Is this making sense now? All right, this is just a hot tip. I want 32% gain. I'm at 32% in the gyro menu. Check it out. The true gain to the gyro is 32%. So, that's a tip. If I was using this radio, I'd definitely set up for dual. And by the way, here's the beauty of this. Sorry about this. Even though I didn't change this between tail lock and normal, it's still 32. See, it says N for normal. Watch, I'm going to go to tail lock. 32 in tail lock. So, there you go. A way to get the gyro menu in this radio to be 1-to-1 true gain. Go into your EPA and set that to about 127, 128 for your travel adjust, and that will make it pretty much true to form. So let's try something like going way up on gain, like 80. All right, we're only slightly off, but I'll tell you what, 1 point is not enough to make me sweat. As a matter of fact, see, 1 point. All right, so that's a quick tip that I would do using this radio so that my dual mode gyro throttle lock or rate, you see it switches and it's still 80, but yet it says normal, is 1-to-1. All right, so set your endpoints on the gyro channel. Again, set your endpoints on the gyro channel to about 127 or 128, and your gyro menu will then be damn close to true gain to any gyro out there. All right? Hope that helps. Okay, so last thing on the gyro menu, pardon me, I want to cover. And that is, even though we don't have an extra switch set, I've still got my radio set up so my gyro gain is, 1-to-1 or pretty damn close. All right, but you could, if you wanted to, set up one of these little trimmers. All right, one of these little trimmers to actually trim your gyro gain. Now, Futaba radios have had this, and I used to do it a lot, and then what I found is I would accidentally bump that little trim and wonder why I'm wagging, and then, you come into the gyro menu and you see it says 50%, but the gyro isn't getting 50%. But I digress. Let me go in here. So we're going to go into the switch null, and we're going to go into function, all right, adjust function. We're going to go set, and I'm going to set the adjust function to CT, all right? Bear with me here. So I'm going to say select, and I'm going to pick CT. All right, so I've picked CT in the menus. All right, I'm going to go back. And right now, the percent of CT is 30. I mean, I could crank that all the way up if I wanted to, but watch what happens. So my gyro menu is at 50, and I'm at 50, right? But I can make a little trimmer that now that I've activated CT, I can actually trim my gain. Notice it says 48, all right? And as you see, my gyro menu still says I'm at 50. The CT trimmer did not change the actual number in my rate for gain, but what it did do is trim my gyro slightly. So I hope that's making sense. And by the way, this menu always pops up when you use the CT. I'm flying along. Let's say I'm getting a little bit of wag, and it's colder out or whatever, or something's changed, I need to drop my gain a little bit. With that little adjustment, I can adjust with that trimmer my gain a little bit. And you see it moving on the screen here, and the screen always pops up whenever you've made a mix like that using one of these LT, CT, RT switches. But as you see, I can trim my gain value by turning that on. Does that make sense? So you can make yourself a little gain trimmer. If you're finding on a cold day you're getting some wag, and you want to trim it down a little bit, rather than going into the gyro menu, going into your condition, changing your gain, and doing all that, you can, again, I'm going to go into switch, function, set, and you can set one of these little trimmers to be a trimmer for your gain value. So again, I wanted to show you that to be complete and show you what that does in the menu. And as you can see, when I change it, see it change and see the gain change, right? So you can make yourself a nice little trimmer to adjust your gain without having to go through menus and change your gain if something has changed cold to hot or something like that and your gyro is sensitive to that. Pretty cool. I used to set up like that when I was flying a lot of Futaba radios, but on those radios it was a knob, and I found that if I accidentally bumped the knob and didn't pay attention, I could be in serious trouble when I took off. I'd either have too much gain or not enough or something like that. With these little trimmers being bump switches, if the radio's not on, they don't do anything. Whereas knobs, like these side ones, if you bump them and then turn the radio on, you could find yourself trimmed out of gain one way or the other extreme. I wouldn't suggest, if you want to trim gain, to use these. I'd use one of these CTs, because when the radio's off, it doesn't affect you. All right? Make sense? So there's a little tip if you want a little trimmer for gain. And I hope this was helpful. And this covers the gyro menu. Hope this was helpful. We'll see you on the next segment.